Okay, so good morning everyone, and welcome to the West Coast Executive Insight meeting. Okay, with me is Mujahid, CEO of West Coast Incorporated. Today we are gathered with top management to decide the pricing strategy for the Zwinger facilities. Zwinger wants us to supply 20,000 pounds of a new compound. So Rauda, as our CFO, what is our main focus today?
Hi Mujib, we have two focus points. Task 1 to determine the minimum floor price for a one-time order, and Task 2 for a long-term contract which is requiring order. The costing strategy for both are very different.
That's right, Rauda. The new product does not use the same manufacturing process as our main product. So, the market is closely watching our ability to set a competitive price.
From the operation side, Muji, this case has one constraint. This 20,000 pound order requires 500 direct labor hours. The problem is our normal capacity for this month has only 400 hours remaining. Therefore, the remaining 100 hours must be counted as overtime.
Thank you, Fred, for that operational update. Let's break down the raw material cost for Task 1. Ikram, what concept are we using here?
For this one, we must use the concept of relevant costing. We only consider future costs that differ between alternative and ignore some costs such as the original purchasing price of the inventory. Could you share the calculation for AG5?
Sure, for the required 6,000 pounds of AG5, we have all stock in the warehouse. However, since AG5 is extremely used for brown wheat, its relevant cost is calculated based on the current market price of $1.2 per pound. But we have a bonus. We have 3,500 pounds of chemical BH3 sitting either from an old product that has been discontinued. Its salvage value is only $600 in total, and it can replace AG5 on a one-to-one basis.
A smart decision. So for the AG5 component, the first 3,500 pounds will be used of BH3 entirely with 11 cost 600 of sacrificed salvage value. The remaining 2,500 pounds will be taken from the AG5 component stock at the market price of $1.220 with 11 cost of 600. The total combined of AG5 and BH3 is $3,600.
As for the other chemicals, KL2 requires 4,000 pounds, valued at the current market price of $1.05 per pound, which is $4,200. For CW7, the required 3,000 pounds is valued at the market price of $1.35 per pound, totaling $4,050.
Finally, the F6 requires 3,500 pounds. We have 3,000 pounds of all idle stock. The relevant cost for this 3,000 pounds is the opportunity cost if we were to sell it directly to the market, which is the market price minus handling cost equals to $70 minus $10 equals to $60, resulting in $1,800. The remaining 500 pounds will be bought new at the full market price of $70, which is $350. The total cost for the F6 is $2,150.
The total for raw materials so far is $14,000. Now in fact, please factor in labor and overhead elements to complete task 1.
For the 500 direct labor hours mentioned earlier, the first 400 hours, the regular time, times with $14, which means we get $5,600. The second 100 hours, the overtime, times with $21, which means we also get $2,100. The total for direct labor cost is $7,700.
For overhead cost, since this is the one-time order, it does not change the company overall fixed cost. The fixed cost of $10.5 per direct labor hour is irrelevant and ignored. We only include the variable manufacturing overhead, which is $3 per direct labor hour. So 500 direct labor hour will be multiplied by $3. That will cost $1,500.
Okay, Yazid, give us the summary total for the lowest floor price for task 1.
The total incremental cost is equals to raw materials plus labor and plus variable overhead. So $14,000 plus $7,700 plus $1,500 equals to $23,200. Divided by 20,000 pounds, the minimum floor price is $1.16 per pound.
Okay, that concludes the floor price analysis for task 1. Next is task 2. In case Zwinger wants to place recurring long-term order, so Iqbal, what is our strategy?
For long-term contract, we can no longer use short-term incremental costing. West Coast company policies stipulate that any long-term product must use full manufacturing cost plus 40% markup.
Exactly. In fact, all chemicals must now be valued at their full current market price because the old stocks of BH3 and BF6 will be depleted after the first order. This pushes the total long-term raw materials cost up to $17,900.
From an operating perspective, because demand for our grounding product remains strong, we will have to restructure overtime shifts to avoid production disruptions, and those additional labor costs must be absorbed into the calculation.
And for the full cost, we are required to include the combined pre-determined overhead rate of $13.5 per direct labor hour that covering both fixed and variable costs. After adding the 40% of markup policy, the project sustainability long-term quote price is around $2.25 to $2.35 per pound.
Okay, thank you everyone for the concise analysis. Before we end the meeting, let's open a brief Q&A slot to meet compliance standards. The first question is for Rauda. Why was the fixed overhead of $10.5 excluded entirely from task 1?
Because for a short-term special order, that fixed cost is a committed cost that will not change whether we accept this order or not. Therefore, it has no differential effect on future cash flow and it's classified as a non-relevant cost.
Excellent. Second question for Iqbal. What is the risk if we mistakenly use that budget price of $1.16 for a long-term contract?
The risk is that Wesco will suffer massive long-term losses. We will run out of cheap chemical stocks, fail to cover the factory fixed costs, and risk cannibalizing the market and capacity of our main product, grow WNV.
A very professional and comprehensive answer. Thank you to all of you for attending this meeting. So you all can dismiss.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.